The 1980s saw an explosion in professional wrestling's popularity, thanks in part mostly to the birth of Hulkamania in the WWE. Hulk Hogan was like a comic book hero come to life, a force for good who defeated every villain in his path. By the early 90s, however, fans were sick of the same old routine from Hogan and began to turn on him. In 1993, the Hulkster left WWE and would later join WCW in 94, where he would continue on with his red and yellow babyface gimmick. That all changed when he turned heel in 1996 and helped form the New World Order with Scott Hall and Kevin Nash. The NWO storyline nearly destroyed WWE. But what if Vince McMahon actually had the guts to turn his biggest star bad in 1993? Hulk Hogan left WWE in 1993 as Hollywood Hulk Hogan helped WCW overtake WWE for a time. Hulk Hogan had once been a heel in the very early years of his wrestling career, but when Vince McMahon Jr. took over WWE and brought in Hogan, who had been fired by his father due to deciding to star in Rocky III as Thunderlips, the two created the Hulkster, the epitome of good who stood up for America and got fans to say their prayers and eat their vitamins, brother. He was unstoppable and became a pop culture icon. But with his character staying the same for years, fans started to get sick of his act. At WrestleMania 6, the Ultimate Warrior got more cheers than the Hulkster, and the arena exploded when Warrior won and became the new WWE champion. By 1993, following the steroid scandal and a disastrous appearance on the Arsenio Hall show, Hogan decided to leave WWE to pursue an acting career. It was the ideal time for Hogan to step away, but WWE seriously struggled without him. They may have had The Undertaker, Shawn Michaels and Bret Hart, but their mid-card was a joke. This allowed WCW a chance to swoop in, with Ted Turner offering big money to Vince McMahon's biggest star, including the biggest of all, Hulk Hogan. The only problem was that the exact same character in WCW was what Hogan played, and this was out of place in the changing mid-90s. At Bash at the Beach 1996, when Hulk Hogan turned heel, it led to a meteoric wrestling boom. WCW quickly became one of the coolest things out there, while WWE was the past. It took a radical shift with the Attitude Era to save the WWE, but it could have been saved years before that. Vince McMahon didn't want to turn Hulk Hogan heel was the problem though, and the same issues would plague John Cena when he was the face of WWE. Hulk Hogan has spoken a number of times about he wanted to turn heel at WrestleMania 6 with the Ultimate Warrior, including in the new Mr. McMahon docuseries, but he couldn't convince Vince McMahon to go along with it. As Hogan tells it, after the Ultimate Warrior beat him for the title, he wanted to turn bad and attack him from behind in the aisleway. In a recent interview with Barstool Wrestling, Hogan said, "I wanted to turn into a bad guy after the Warrior beat me at WrestleMania 6, Hogan said. At the end of the day, I went to Vince and said, well, I don't mind putting the Warrior over, but what's next? And Vince said, I don't really know. I think your Ready Yeller runs over. I said, well, number one, I disagree, but number two, if you feel that way and you're the boss, let me do something different. Let me turn on him. Let me be Hollywood Hulk Hogan. And he said that wouldn't work." Vince McMahon had a history of refusing to change his biggest stars. John Cena, for instance, became loved by the fans because of his edgy rapper gimmick, but as soon as he became the face of the company, he turned into a dull PG babyface who no longer rapped or had any edge or any charisma or any wrestling ability or anything really. He was on top for over a decade and never turned once, no matter how much fans wanted it. I can sort of see with Cena though, because of the merch ability with kids, and they might not buy Cena merch if he's a bad guy. So I can sort of see it there, and also all the Make-A-Wish stuff he does, so that makes sense. But with Hogan, it didn't really make sense to not turn him. The same thing happened though with Roman Reigns for years. Fans loathed the big dog, but look at how successful he was when Reigns told McMahon that he wasn't coming back from his COVID hiatus until he got a character change. For 4 years, Roman Reigns was the biggest name in wrestling as the bad guy, tribal chief of the bloodline. In 1993, a Hulk Hogan heel turn would have transformed WWE. And when he did turn heel in WCW, nobody matched Hulk Hogan's popularity. It would make sense why Vince didn't want to turn Hogan heel in the late 80s. He was still on top then, bringing in millions of dollars, and was so popular he even had his own cartoon. But this was the 90s, and Vince thought the red and yellow era was ending. He was right, so why not turn the biggest name heel when the babyface gimmick is being rejected? That's exactly what happened in WCW, and look how that went. Fans still loved Hogan. It was his horrible character they hated again. When he turned bad, he ironically became more popular than ever. WWE could have had all of that. A program that a babyface Warrior and heel Hogan probably wouldn't have worked because of the Warrior's attitude, but it could have gone in so many directions after that. Imagine an evil heel Hogan going up against Bret Hart, Lex Luger, The Undertaker, or a newly turned babyface Shawn Michaels. Heck, you could have still had a version of the NWO with Diesel and Razor Ramon. That would have been bad news for WCW though, who didn't have a star on the level of Hogan to counter WWE. Ric Flair was aging, and Sting would have stayed in his surfer gimmick. WWE, with business booming now that Hogan was a heel, would have had the money to counter Ted Turner, thus not losing all of their biggest names to WCW. It's fantasy booking now, but it shows how one different decision would have altered wrestling history forever. I mean, does the Attitude Era even happen? Does Stone Cold happen? The Rock? Triple H? What would have happened if Hogan had turned heel in 1993? You can let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up, click the subscribe button and hit that notification bell to make sure you never miss out on any of the fun content that we produce here at Honor Wrestling Club. Be sure to check out our previous videos. We've got some similar in format to this, one on the Curtain Call incident and one on John Cena's AA. So be sure to check both of them out. And then be sure to let me know in the comments if you enjoy this format of video and want to see it a bit more often. However, that's all for now, so I'd like to thank you for watching and welcome you to the club, brother! See ya!